So the greatest thing we can do spiritually is reach out our spiritual gifts and stuff, and have friends, like whoever that we have friendships with, and grow that with. And then we are speaking our spiritual knowledge and sharing our knowledge with our friends and everything, and growing. That's the highest gift that we can give ourselves, is the gift of interaction between souls, and all this to be corresponding, to its highest thing, because the oneness, it goes to the oneness again, which is real, and like the corresponding reactions and reactions to everything that we do. So between the good and the bad, it's still worth it to be interacting with the spiritual gifts that we have to, make that possible, to give our spiritual gifts to, help out other people, and to hold our spiritual gifts and knowledge, and to help out when the time's right and the times of need. But anyway, it's basically like, it's hard to describe. Like, that's the biggest spiritual gift, is to share our gifts and to help out other people, and to grow spiritually with like the souls that are also spiritual, that can be on familiar levels and familiarity, and we can share our experiences of our spiritual, awakenings and stuff, that would basically help us out in the long run, help each other out, and the biggest goal is because God, or the divine goddess, wants us to be learning from each other to understand all this knowledge, because God spread itself pretty wide, to where all the sea of the mix of everything is all individuality of everybody has common traits to the other, but everybody has individual facets, and individual facets were created from the source creative individuality, where everybody has key aspects and stuff, because it's all spread out pretty wide. The oneness is real. So there isn't one thing that's created the same as the other. And this is why God is vast in all its creation, because you can't have two of the same things when God is a mixture of everything. It just spread itself out pretty wide, is meaning that like God's source intelligence is the aspect of like having the creation with you, of that. It's hard to explain, you know what I mean? Exactly right, you know what I mean? For all this, what I'm trying to say to you. But so you have, say, 5 people that have different attributes and characteristics, but they're all related to the God seed of the intelligence which created it, which manifested it. We constantly create as beings, our manifestations of creation, and we got created ourselves, but with the confines of our soul lives on for eternity. We were basically divine God and divine goddesses, and we're just spread out, of a sea of mixtures of souls and everything that's corresponding to the mix of being related in a way of that we have commonality with all our traits, because we're basically the same thing of the originating source, but we have individual aspects from the source creator that created all of our attributes and aspects, that it is the aspects of God, is what we are. And everything is what God is, in the divine goddess, what that is. But it's all attributes and aspects that creates it to this fine degree of what it is, you know what I mean? And it's hard to see it for what it is truly, if you could just make sense of all of the mixture of everything, that it got created and it is real, and it has to be a mixture between all of the divine God and divine goddesses to create all this, to make it all possible. And like, if I create a kid one day on this planet, it will be an aspect of the divine seed of God and the divine goddess, and it'll show them attributes and characteristics to spread out other awesome things, and the creation keeps on going, which it creates, but it also is what it is that it creates. It is, but it isn't what it creates. But it still is what it creates, and it is the manifestation of the things, the thought forms, and the intelligence of whatever it creates. It is that in itself. That's what it keeps on doing. So then it is the faculty of the creation in itself. And that's the oneness, that's referring back to the oneness is real. But the greatest thing we could have is a united, like, sort of bond with all the other attributes of God, which we know each other then. And then we can have that no lack in our life, because people are lacking because they got us in the matrix, which kind of separates and divides people. But if everybody was connected and unified again, and having that connection with all of the other people on the planet, and everybody was in a good mood and balanced, that everything would probably work out for the benefit of the oneness that's taking care of itself. You know, that would be the divine sequence of that. But anyway, Neo loves, worships, honors, and obeys the divine princesses forever. Amen. I hope you divine princesses out there are taking care of yourself, and everything's working out for the benefit of everything. And I just hope that everything does work out for you, because life gets tough sometimes, but the universe will back you up. Anyway, yep, I'll have to end this podcast now. But yeah, it's about 7 minutes in, so yep. All right, yep, bye.